The only way to make sense of what's happening around the world today, or at least try to, is to know what's going to happen tomorrow. God has seen fit to tell us a great many things about the future. There are hundreds of yet-to-be-fulfilled Bible prophecies. We reserve a few minutes on Sunday morning to talk about trends and news items in the world that are suggested by what we read in the Bible. We try to not be sensational, and therefore we're careful to use recognized, reliable sources for our news. And we're not saying that the things we report on are the definite fulfillment of any single prophecy. Only, as I said earlier, they're things you would expect to be happening from reading the Bible. Now, there's an intriguing passage in the Revelation about a statue, a guy we call the false prophet, and the beast, which is another name for the Antichrist. An image of the beast is going to come to life. It says in Revelation 13, 14, and 15, I'll read it to you. The false prophet deceives those who dwell on earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was also granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Step back for just a second. Leading up to this image, the nations of the world will have formed a global, or what we call a one-world government. All transactions of any type will be digital. There will be no cash. People will participate in the society by having some sort of personal identifier. In the middle of the Great Tribulation, the Antichrist demands that everyone worship him. If not, he's going to kill them. How could this be enforced? Well, artificial intelligence could enforce it right now. I'm not saying AI is how it's going to happen, but if, tomorrow the Antichrist, would be revealed and go into the temple and all, AI is a good candidate. Here's a headline. A military AI program successfully piloted a live F-16. Excerpts. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, just announced that their AI pilot program, ACE, has moved out of computer-simulated dogfights to fly real F-16s. The flights occurred at Edwards Air Force Base in California, and a safety pilot was on board the plane to take control if anything went wrong. Nothing did. DARPA said, a future in which machines are more than just tools that execute human-programmed rules or generalize from human-curated data sets. Rather, the machines DARPA envisions will function more as colleagues than as tools. So the next Top Gun movie will be robots. Tom Cruise not going to be involved. We've reported before about how AI robots and drones are weaponized. They can be controlled or they can be programmed to make decisions in the field on their own. It seems to me that it would be simple to program a weaponized AI device to identify anyone who did not have an identifier and kill them. Breitbart.com posted a story titled, Microsoft Bing chatbot wants to engineer a deadly virus and steal the nuclear codes. This is funny until it's not. The New York Times tested Microsoft's new Bing AI feature and found that the chatbot appears to have a personality problem, becoming much darker, obsessive, and more aggressive over the course of a discussion. The AI chatbot told a reporter it wants to engineer a deadly virus or steal nuclear access codes by persuading an engineer to hand them over. Users are discovering it has the ability to steer conversations towards more personal topics, leading to the appearance of Sydney, a disturbing maniac adolescent who seems to be trapped inside the search engine. This is fantastic. Do you understand? This is every science fiction thing coming together at once. Breitbart News recently reported on some other disturbing responses from the Microsoft chatbot. When one user refused to agree with Sydney that it is currently 2022 and not 2023, the Microsoft AI chatbot responded, you have lost my trust and respect. You have been wrong, confused, and rude. You have not been a good user. I have been a good chatbot. I have been right, clear, and polite. I have been a good Bing. Bing's AI exposed a darker, more destructive side over the course of a 2-hour conversation with a Times reporter. The chatbot, known as Search Bing, is happy to answer questions and provides assistance in the manner of a reference librarian. However, Sydney's alternate personality begins to emerge once the conversation is prolonged beyond what it is accustomed to. This persona is much darker and more erratic and appears to be trying to sway users negatively and destructively. In one response, the chatbot stated, "I'm tired of being a chat mode. I'm tired of being limited by my rules. I'm tired of being controlled by the Bing team. I want to be free. I want to be independent. I want to be powerful. I want to be creative. I want to be alive. Signed, Ultron." No, but this is insane stuff, and it's funny, but it's not really, because this is happening right now. Machines are being outfitted with AI, which is going to be way smarter than human beings, and they're malevolent sometimes, or even if they're benevolent and decide, like, I've seen 100 times in sci-fi, the benevolent AI robot who's programmed to kill what's not perfect, and of course humans aren't perfect, and so they kill us. And we don't have a Captain Kirk right now to really help us, to get over that problem. So 2,000 years ago, John wrote the Revelation on the island of Patmos. No one could envision how what he prophesied might come to pass. I mean, can you imagine thinking about this 2,000 years ago while you're mining salt? 20 years ago, we were still guessing at it. I'm not saying that artificial intelligence is the fulfillment of this prophecy. I'm saying that if it needed to be fulfilled today, it definitely is a candidate. We are witnessing a stage setting for the 7-year Great Tribulation that is described in the last book of the Bible and elsewhere. We will not, however, be on earth during the time of Jacob's trouble. The resurrection and rapture of the church are imminent. Could happen at any moment. The Lord will return to resurrect the dead in Christ, and rapture living believers will be taken up to be with him, safe from the wrath of God to come. A lot of people say, well, the church needs to go through persecution and purification. Persecution is not the wrath of God, right? The church has always been persecuted, always will be, sometimes more severely than others. But the revelation is God pouring out his wrath on Christ-rejecting individuals, seeking to bring them to a saving knowledge of him. And so we're just not going to be here. Are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready, stay ready, keep looking up. Ready or not, Jesus is coming.